asking just how you got into it. We'll start with the story. I'll guide you. No worries.
Okay.
Welcome back to the PDR Coach podcast. Today we have on the episode Dan Rechichi. I connected with Dan through a mastermind group that we're both a part of in the PDR industry. Dan is in a situation that I'm sure many of you are in. He has a very difficult winter to deal with, very snowy up in New York, cold, difficult, situation to deal with. And he doesn't get a lot or any hail damage really in the area. He lives in New York, opened up a shop about 6 years ago. Today we're going to talk about his journey into PDR and what he actually does during those winter months. What's up, Dan?
Hey, Corey, how you doing today?
Good, man. Thanks for coming on the episode. How I like to start every episode with Dent guys. How'd you get into this weird little niche that we're in?
Weird little niche that we're in. So,
how'd you find it?
Basically, I was a collision tech for 20 years. It just so happens I bounced back and forth. I was an insurance appraiser for a short time. They didn't like me very much because I was a body guy. So,
yeah, exactly.
You're writing too much. You don't know.
You're like, that's what this guy deserves, though. Trust me.
Right. Yeah. The customer's entitled to it, but they didn't want to hear it.
For sure.
So, going along back to the body guy, got up to management status and stuff like that. And, 2008 in December, Christmas Day, I had a stroke. So it put me out of work for about a year and a half, and did a lot of thought on what I wanted out of life, whether it was worth it or not. That managing a business, managing someone's shop for them, you're the first one there, the last one to leave, and you're there on the weekends and nobody else is. So I had gone back to work for probably about 6 months, and I'd always found interest in paintless dent repair. I always thought that if I could take my metal skills from being a body tech and roughing out large damage to, glass work, that if I could do paintless dent repair, a lot of these repairs I could repair that a lot of guys that were coming around weren't touching. Back when I was looking at it, there was just a lot of door dents and stuff getting done.
Yeah.
So I picked up a set of B&D tools off of eBay. Yeah. And
that's how you got to start.
Mike Toledo's videos, and took a hood home, started knocking dings in it with a golf ball and practicing.
So let's go back
It's a long road.
Yeah, there's no doubt. But you've been down long roads though. Obviously, I mean, so you had a stroke. Very serious. Like I have people in my life that have strokes that have lived through them, and some that have not lived through them. I mean, they can be very serious.
Yeah.
So a year and a half.
Yeah.
Work.
Yeah, I was actually out on disability and stuff.
How did you overcome that?
It was really hard because my wife, she was pregnant with our firstborn.
Oof.
I still don't really care for Christmas because it happened on Christmas Day. So it's a big reminder. But yeah, it was really scary. Luckily I worked somewhere, and, I had New York State disability insurance, and
$10 a month.
Yeah. And I fought for Social Security, and I was able to gain that because I didn't know where I was going, as far as that. And I had the best looking yard, on the street because I was just always busy.
Right? Yeah. You had
to I mean, you got to keep your mind. And I started going. Well, I had a surgery on my heart January 21st after the stroke. They closed the hole in my heart. And then I had 2 eye surgeries, my left eye, because it was lazy. Believe it or not, I still don't have like my upper left quadrant of my vision, which
really
can be pretty challenging with paintless dent repair. Sometimes I wonder if that's why I'm a line guy and I'm not a fog guy.
Because you can't see part of the fog.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Because both eyes, I lost that upper, from 9 o'clock to 12 o'clock. So I definitely like working down one side of the panel better than the other. But cognitive rehabilitation and all that stuff. And then I ended up just going back to work After I was off blood thinners and stuff, I went back to work, worked in the office, and it wasn't,
So
I
yeah,
mean,
so you said you went down a long road, and I mean to start dent repair, but I mean if you have a stroke and then overcome that, multiple surgeries,
yeah,
rehabilitation of some sorts and probably many different areas, you're like, I can start a business. That's just nothing. It's not even life or
yeah,
death.
yeah. I'm already running someone else's, and what
Yeah,
else do you have to lose, right?
you're right. I mean, what are you waiting for, right?
So,
That's the question you start asking yourself. Like, what am I waiting for? I've been
and
working for someone
where I
else.
was at in life, I'm like, man, I see what's going through here. If worst case scenario, I'll go work a car lot, a couple car lots. If I can do this much a week,
You'll be fine.
I'm
Yeah,
I'm good,
yeah,
right?
hmm
And I mean, I can carve something up with the best of them. What
yeah,
you
yeah,
drill a
for sure.
hole, couple high spots, maybe one or two pieces of cracked paint, and you're golden. Go
Yeah, I
go
mean, you could
bill
sell that to 90% of the people. Yeah.
them. Exactly. I made it look better, right? Took
Yeah.
the objection away.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that was a big deal, especially here in New York State. You got to be a registered repair shop and stuff like that.
hmm
Um, so you definitely have all your insurance and stuff.
hmm
But I
So you,
knew going into it that retail is where I wanted to go. So pretty much, I would say from the first year, I got the website going. They weren't the best websites. I ended up paying a company a lot of money
hmm
um, for a website and hosting that and stuff for about a year. Then I backed out of it. Oh, fire truck might be going by
it's
here.
okay.
I'm still at the shop, but no riots. Probably just a fire. But
Probably.
um, then my wife, she designed my website on Squarespace,
Mm-hmm.
and with like the SEO and the brand, the name recognition and stuff that I had paid for through the other company, it kind of helped it, So on the first page and all that, when we started dabbling in AdWords, uh, which is huge.
Yeah.
Um,
So let me ask you a question.
so
You said in 2008 you started dent repair. Is that right? You bought that
2011
first
is
set of
when I
oh,
first
2011.
started the business.
Okay.
Yeah.
2011, you bought the tools.
Yeah.
And I think you've been in a shop for about 6 years. So you have a 3-year period where you're learning dent repair in between there and the shop. So where'd you
It took
start? Where'd you get to work? And then why did you decide to open up a shop?
it took me about 8 months to be able to fix like a dime to quarter size dent.
Sure. Yeah.
Um, which I've talked to other people and they're like, yeah, sounds
Mm-hmm.
about right.
Pretty good.
You know,
Yeah. I
either
mean,
pay 20 grand or
watching videos. I mean, that's,
yeah,
it's pretty
yeah.
good. Yeah.
My wife hated me,
Yeah.
and I'd be watching Mike's videos and I'd just like fall asleep and she'd shut it off. Hey, what are you doing?
I was watching that.
So yeah, right. Um, so and back then it wasn't like everything's on YouTube and
Yeah. Yeah.
Facebook and stuff like it is.
Yeah.
But so I started doing that, and then I started selling little dents and dings or roughing stuff out at the body shop,
Mm.
or upselling a customer for a door ding.
Oh, nice.
My boss, he really didn't want anything to do with it, the owner of the business.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to go get trained by a higher level
Sure.
tech. So, I told him, I go, listen, I'll stay here for 3 years and we can work it through the shop and we'll work something out amongst us. And he didn't want anything to do with it. So
Yeah.
I ended up going out to California, out your way.
Yeah.
And because everything good happens out there. So,
So you know it.
so I went out to, what is it, Superior Auto Institute, and it was like working in my basement, but it gave me 2 weeks to sit there and practice. When I came back, I knew that, all right, it's time to get the ball rolling. I started getting my licensing and everything and all my insurance. And, I already had my appraiser's license. So I had that kind of backing me with dealing with it. And I gave my boss my 2 weeks,
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, see ya.
So,
You had your chance.
so you went straight into the shop then. You never did a route
Yeah.
or dealerships really or
Well,
anything like that.
no, I did.
Okay.
I was on the road for 5 years as well.
Ah, gotcha.
So I was mobile for 5 years. And then, because I started the business in 2011.
Yeah, gotcha. And you were doing some stuff at
Okay.
the shop and doing mobile work also.
Right.
Some stuff at the body
Yep.
shop and doing mobile work. Gotcha. Okay, nice. And then you opened up the shop in 2014, 15 or 15 about.
Yes. Yeah.
Nice. Where did that,
Yeah.
how did that
I think
come
it was
about?
May.
Was it because of
That
the
was
nasty
scary as
winters?
hell. It was,
Yeah.
to be honest with you. And I got tired of the dealers. I mean, we're not a huge metropolitan place, so we don't have tons of dealers. There's already probably about 5 guys going around and doing all the dealers. So it was like, oh, well, so-and-so charges this much, you know,
Yeah.
yeah, but they don't, you know,
Yeah.
whatever. So, you know, the spiel. I don't have, everybody that's listening knows the deal. And I didn't want that. And I'd grown the retail end of it to the point where I couldn't get everywhere in one day that I
Nice.
needed to get, you know,
Yeah.
going, oh, well, I'll be out that way, so I'll do an estimate for you this day after
Yeah.
you're qualifying or whatever. And it got to be too much, you know, and I felt like there's a disconnect here. So my thought process was, if I get into the shop, I can have so many more people come see me. Like, everybody's like, that's not going to work. They're not going to come. There's mobile guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they don't answer their phone. So I'm
Yeah.
okay.
A lot of times.
You
Yeah.
know?
Those are limiting beliefs,
But,
and we all come up to those limiting beliefs in
yeah.
life, especially when we're trying to do something big, like whether start in the dent business or start the shop or I mean, when I started my coaching in the podcast, people were like, I don't know, there's already a podcast about all that stuff. But like, how did you overcome that and do it anyways? And what was like, if you could define a little bit of a criteria of when people should make that move into the shop, because a lot of dent guys want the shop, but they don't know when to do that. They're worried too that like they've been mobile for 5 years, and when they move to the shop, customers are just gonna find another person. Like, talk through that a little bit.
I mean, I still had dealers calling me, you know, and I had one. They're probably 40 minutes away. If they had a new car delivery, they'd bring it up for me to do it.
40 minutes?
I turned them on to someone down that way. I'm like, call this kid. He's good. He's a good kid. You know, just he'll take care of you. You know what I mean? Just, you know, call me if there's something you really need. But
yeah,
to make the move, you really need to have all your ducks in a row as far as the website and things like that. You know, like on a body shop aspect of it, oh, I can go out and get some DRPs and stuff, and that's going to keep me busy.
Yeah.
Well, PDR wise, a lot of people don't even know what it is out there.
It's true.
So to just hang a shingle on the outside of the building and have people show up, it's not going to happen. And I had, you know, I dabbled in AdWords, so that was good. And I still, to this day, I probably answered 2 phone calls where I'm like, no, we don't provide a mobile service, you know, but it's just like a body shop. Come by, get an estimate, and we can help you with that. You know, you need to have it all in a row. You're not going to be able to just go from mobile and be like, okay, well, I don't do that anymore. You got to come here. You know, you ease into it, but you're going to want to be out there in the public, because if all you've been doing is dealers, so if all you've done is retail and you're going to go to a shop, that's going to be an easier transition, because you've already branded yourself as that guy. You've already got reviews and things like that. If all you've ever done is dealerships, the public doesn't really know about you, and that's going to be your main customer now.
Yeah, right, obviously. So I mean,
you have to win the hearts of the customers.
Did you move into the shop 100% and you're like, I don't do mobile? Or did you still do mobile? Was there a transition time where it was a gray area?
Yeah, so it wasn't long, but I'm about 2 miles from a Sterling, now Service King. They called me like, hey, we messed something up. Can you come up and take? So, and I had my little Scion at the time, and I'm like, yeah, no problem. I'll come on up. So I'm pulling out of the parking lot, and in pulls a customer in their Mercedes. I'm like, are they going to the glass guy down there? But I saw him. He came over to the shop. I'm like, shit, I'm going to pull back in. I'm like, hey, can I help you? Yeah, I just want an estimate on some dents. Well, this job ended up being about a $600 job. And I mean, he has all these friends. He's been one of my best customers.
Really?
Like, he tells everybody, you know, and yeah, I was getting in my vehicle to go 2 miles down the road to do a $75 door dam to help a shop out, that I'd probably get paid in net 90. You know what I mean?
And this guy's
And
made
it's
you
like,
like $5,000 over the last
yeah,
several
yeah,
years.
it's just ridiculous. I mean,
So
it's
basically that
hard to
happened.
think that way, but
Yeah.
after that, I was like, no more.
No, I'm
I'm
not leaving
not
the
doing
shop.
it, because if I'm not here,
Yeah.
or there's someone not here to take care of it,
Right.
you know,
You
it's
can miss $600 job.
squirrel. They're down
Yeah.
the road.
Sure.
You know.
Yeah, it's very possible. Yeah.
So,
And I mean, you move into the shop for the time, for that time savings and for the efficiency and stuff. So if you're not going to commit to it, so would you say that then? Like, if you're not going to commit to the shop and you're going to open up a shop and be there 2 days a week, would you just say put it off until you're ready to do 5 days a week, or what?
that would be a personal decision that someone would have to make, obviously.
Yeah.
I would definitely have someone there that could at least qualify dents and give them a ballpark idea and make an appointment.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing more that's going to make someone mad is if they show up at your establishment and nobody's there.
There's a sign that says be back in 10 minutes.
They took time out of their day.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, I've done that. You know, ran to get lunch. I'll be right back. Give me a call. You know.
Yeah.
But I mean, you definitely want to establish your times that you're going to be there or not be there. But to me, it's like all or nothing. My first winter, I sat here with hardly anything to do. You know what I mean? Took on some big hits, you know, things like that. Doing a lot of larger damage that people wouldn't do. And I mean, even 5 years ago, I'm not as, or 5-6 years ago, I'm not as good as I am today.
For sure.
You know,
no doubt about it.
That's how you grow yourself, right?
Yeah.
And then obviously going through doing Facebook posts and checking your SEO and your website and all that stuff. I mean, your downtime, that's when you need to be doing those things.
Right. And so, that was the next, we'll lead into that a little bit, is that, like, you know, everybody knows we're slower in the winter. Even in California, obviously our weather's not bad, but it rains and it's a little colder and stuff. Like, it slows down a little bit. We do our best to try to make it not slow down, but when it's 100 degrees and everyone's taking their, you know, fancy cars out for their drives, it's a little busier in June. You know, it's just the case. So you get in your situation, and there's a lot of guys around the country that have inclement weather that's tough. So you go into the shop in the winter for that reason, but then it's also slow. Right. So what are you doing during those times? One, to steadily increase that business year over year. And then two, what are you doing while you're sitting at the shop waiting for dents to come in? You're working, like you said, working on all those other things. Talk about that a little bit.
So I continuously, like anybody that's worked with me in marketing and things like that, they get a lot of phone calls and questions and stuff when it gets slow, because nobody likes spending money for no return. So, and that's when you can sit there and critique things, or come up with a blog that you want to have written, or write it yourself, go through your photos and, you know, okay, well, I took 25 photos at different angles. These two are pretty close. These would be good to post, you know, and stuff like that. And then, you know, get them out there on Facebook and stuff in people's faces, so they start thinking about dent removal and things like that, instead of the salt that's running down the side of their car. And, you know, I mean, it's pretty bad. You know, you'll be kicking the snow so your tire isn't rubbing, you know, going down the road. All of that, and, you know, to organization of the shop. I'm always moving the shop around and stuff, but you got to stay positive and you got to stay focused. You know, I have a couple little car dealers that'll bring me in stuff, and I'll take on larger damage that I don't necessarily would do. You can obviously go through estimates that you wrote and reach out to the customers and be like, hey, you know what, we're a little slow right now. I know I told you this price, but if you wanted to bring it in now, I could help you out with this,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll do an improvement for you. We won't make it brand new, but
Yeah.
That quarter that was caved in, I can get the contour back for you.
Yeah. Something
And,
like that. Yeah. And you're learning on those too.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, don't chew them up. Try to get them,
Mm-hmm.
Do them respectable for the customer so they can leave with a vehicle that looks halfway decent. But you're also losing or learning your metal movement. You're practicing your glute pulling, and you bigger crushes are going to come easier and easier to you.
Yeah, I try. So we running businesses, obviously we all have things that we say we want to do, right? Posting this or fixing the website or doing the Facebook ads or learning Google AdWords, all that stuff. And so we all have those things and we get busy with dents and forget and family and all that stuff. And I try to see, like you said, keep the right mindset. I try to see slow times as an opportunity. If you have a good business and a good name and a website, like it's not going to be busy forever. I mean, it's not going to be slow forever. Like just because you're slow this week doesn't mean that like business is over. And we've all thought that. Like you look into next week and I have nothing booked. Like like PDR industry is ending. No one wants to fix dents anymore. They're all fixed, right? Like we've all had those thoughts and we're like, oh, what do we do? But like I try to be like, okay, like now is the perfect opportunity for me to do these other things that I want to do. So instead of like worrying and like trying to drive to every dealer to find one car to fix or all these things, right? Like what can I do that's like the most effective thing? Like the
because you're like actually spending money to do that, to go look
for sure. You are, yeah,
for a car,
totally, yeah. But like, what can I do that I can take this as an opportunity? All these things I said I wanted to do. I took a bunch of before and after pictures, but I never really went in and edited them and started a YouTube page, right? Like this is the opportunity to do that. Like winter can be the opportunity to change up your business and get it all dialed in and get systems down and how you're going to do things and videos and all that stuff. So that when it starts to get sunny again in, March, April or whatever, you have a whole different
or you get a nice day in the middle of the, you get a good week.
Yeah.
Thank goodness for global warming, you get a nice thaw and the roads dry up and everybody's got their car washed up and it's like the first spring rush.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, oh my God, I didn't see this. Yeah. Oh, okay. All right. Well, I got a couple weeks worth of work book now.
So does that happen to you? Sometimes you get busy down to like where you're like, oh, I'm not going to do a dent until next March. And then all of a sudden you're busy again.
Oh yeah. You're ready to just hang it up for the winter. Like, I'm not going in. No, it's not worth it, and call and complain to everybody and stuff. And the next thing you know, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
You can't answer the phone quick enough and it's chiming in your ear all day long and you're trying to fix that one dent. And I can't stand 0 to 100 miles an hour. You know what I mean? I would rather be that constant, I don't like, maybe it's because of the stroke or whatever, but I don't like fluctuation,
Yeah, for sure.
In everything. So I like to be able to plan. So
yeah, definitely. And you said you can call some of those old customers back, say, hey, maybe we could work something out, whatever. So this kind of leads into that for this lease repair stuff. You and I talked about this a little while ago, and you actually have a section dedicated on your website about lease repairs. I guess lease turn-in repairs. I've done some of those. I have a couple blog posts written on it and things like that, but I don't like advertise much or talk about it much. But do you do a lot of those? And would you have any tips on how people can find that and kind of cultivate that area of the market?
So I use it. Gene Fetty has a closing procedure that's like a protractor close.
Protractor close. Yeah.
Have you used it?
I have. Yeah.
Yeah, and it works.
Great. Yeah, it works.
Because people can relate, right? You can go and tell a customer, okay, well, if I get this 80% for you, nobody's going to see it. Well,
what the fuck?
Who's going to determine the 80%?
Me.
I'm a jerk. I used to be like, and I'm the one that determines what 80% is.
Not right.
You.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Just so you know.
Just so you know. Let's be clear. But the protractor close is, when you go for a lease turn-in, they're just going to do a quick walk around. They're looking for major damage on the car. And I'm not saying get these customers in and chew their car up and, blow through them. Still get a good price for them. Usually what I'll do is I'll anchor a customer at full retail. I'll write a full retail ticket, maybe a little soft on some factors and stuff. And I'll be like, this is a lease. Let's see what we can, because those people are going to be your customers down the road, right? For sure. This isn't a one-time deal. They found you already.
Right.
So, and you're their godsend. If you can keep them from having to paint a panel before they turn it in, they're telling all their friends.
And
they're not going to tell you you're cheap because you already told them what the retail price was.
Correct. Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So
and now you're saving them money too, right?
Yeah.
Now you're saving them
money.
money.
Be like, I'll clean that up for $200. Okay. Well, what was the original quote?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I anchor them at full retail. I'll back 20% off of the repair, which isn't huge.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's nice.
And I close them depending whether, so full retail would be 180. You're eyeballing the thing off the telephone pole that's a half a mile down the road.
Yeah.
And then you have your 45, which, you're going to look good there. You might have a subtle little wave or a flicker or something. At 90, you're going to be mint. Nobody's going to know it was ever there. See what we're looking, that's not going to be there.
Right. So that's what you're saying. The Protractor is like that half circle.
Your degree wheel.
Right. So you look at, the Protractor closes like when we're quoting full retail and we're talking about perfect, we're talking about perfect when you're looking at 180 degrees. You can look down the side of that car. You won't see anything.
Shotgunning it down the side.
Yeah. That's full retail. That's like prime customer. Those are the people we want to see. But that's not what everybody wants, right? And we're in business to give customers what they want. And sometimes they just need to turn in their car and not get raped by the lease guy. Like not get destroyed. Like, oh, it's $1,000 panel. It's $1,000 panel. They just need some dents fixed. So the Protractor closes like instead of at 180, like at 45, maybe you'll see a little bit of a wave. You look straight at that panel, you won't see anything. And that's what the guy's gonna look. That's how the guy's gonna look at.
That's all they're doing.
Yeah.
Right.
And so that's the close you're saying. And just to clarify too, because I don't think everybody knows this, when you're saying anchoring a price is a very this is a sales tactic that everybody could use. I do it all the time too. Anchoring them at a price. The way that works in our brain is that when we're buying something, we're looking for the first price that someone tells us, right? So we're like waiting and waiting and waiting. And then someone tells us that first price. For most people that don't know what dent repair is, they're going to be shocked no matter what. Because some people think it's $40, $50. They don't know. So whether you say 150, 200, whatever, they're all going to be like, oh, that's very high. A lot of people. So you tell them full retail price, you anchor the price there. So now they're thinking like, okay, $250 is normal. Like that's what these people charge. And now they're getting a discount at 20% off of 250 was that $200, right? So instead of just saying, hey, I'll charge you $200 for that, what you can do is say, here's what I would do for full retail. But because of your situation and you don't need it to be absolutely perfect at that 180 degrees, I'll do it 20% off. And now they think they're getting a deal, right? Or they are getting a deal, but now not only are they getting a deal, but the perception is that they're getting a deal as well. And that's what we're looking for, right? Good paying jobs and happy customers. Yeah.
Yeah. And how fast can you do
it's almost better money.
45 degree repair, right? I mean, it's going to be better, quicker money.
Yeah.
And it's like, please drop this off for the day so I can call you at the end of the day and let you know how long it took me.
Sure.
Yeah. And nobody's getting nobody's getting screwed,
You're helping them.
Because you're helping them. You're not chewing up their car. If the car lot wants to pay someone else to finish that subtle little wave or something, they can. They won't. not what I'm leaving.
No.
But and on the quote, I put lease turn in quality minus 20%, and then when I invoice it, that comes off.
Yeah.
But it always when they take that piece of paper from here, it has that full retail price at the end of it, so they can go back and look at it and be like, oh, that's $700 normally.
Yeah.
I'm going to get it done for this, and I'm not going to have to. But like I said, you're going to get a review from the customer. Okay. They're going to remember you. I mean, you can't pay for that kind of advertisement.
No. Mm-mm.
you know, and you're not advertising for being someone that gives discounts or somebody that's cheap. You're advertising your customer
You
service that
take
you
care of them.
provide.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You're getting that personal connection with the person. They know that you care about them. You're not just there to give them a bill and collect your money.
Yeah. So
It sounds a little soft, but it works.
yeah,
You
that's
know, I mean,
so much good info there. Like that, like you could go back and probably replay that last 5 or 10 minutes, like talking about the anchoring and the pricing and the protractor close and the reviews and all that stuff is just really great stuff. If you want to start a retail shop, I mean, you get good at that stuff, you'll be successful down the road.
Yep.
Like you'll be successful.
Reviews are huge.
And you mentioned reviews. Like I'm going to put this out there, this question to the hundreds of people that listen to the podcast. If anybody knows anybody that has more Google reviews than Dan, let me know. Do you know of anybody? Because I haven't found him that has more Google reviews than you.
Yeah, I don't pay attention. Right.
Okay. Me either. I didn't look at every PDR company, but we have PDR people all over the world listening to this and a ton of people in the US. Dan, last time I looked today, you have 378 Google reviews as of today, which is insane.
Was that Google or Yelp, Facebook, and everything?
I don't know. Was it everything? It's on your website.
Was it on the website that you saw?
Is that everything?
So that accrues everything.
Okay.
That's from like Facebook, Yelp.
I still hold the challenge.
I think Google's at like 255 or 256.
Okay. So if anybody has more than 250 Google reviews, reach out to me and let me know. But how? Teach us your ways.
Well, you see, what I do is I slip them $50.
Okay.
No,
there it is.
Not how that happens.
Like Mafia New York stuff? Is that you just got to like, okay, working a little bit?
I jack them up to the wall, you know.
If you don't give me this, then I will find a car.
Yeah. No, we're a lot more northwest of that part of New York. So we're not down in the city. Not that there's anything wrong with it down there, but I'm Niagara Falls area.
Yeah.
So I met Gene Fetty.
Who's that? I'm just kidding.
I know. I've never heard of the guy. I met Gene Fetty at Advanced Skills. We talked a couple times and things like that. And he comes up to me. He's like, "How's your reviews? You know, do you ask customers for reviews? You know?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, it's it's kind of a pain in the butt. Oh, let's get a card with a QR code on it."
No one ever gives reviews, even though I ask.
No. So he text messaged me his.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And all it was, I can't remember if his was a link to a page on his website or not.
Mm-hmm.
But that's how I set mine up at first. I linked it to a page on my website. And then from there was Google, Yelp, Facebook, PDR Nation links where people could just click and go to reviews. And then there was a little blurb written up, "Thank you for giving us your business. We really appreciate,
mm-hmm.
we really appreciate it. And, our reviews really help other people find us so that we can help them as well." And then there's that link. So all I would do is, this was before like CRM and all that.
Yeah, we'll talk about that next. We'll talk about that next.
This is like dinosaur stuff here.
Yeah.
And so what I would do is I put that in my text replacement. Anybody can do it.
Mm-hmm.
You copy all that in your text replacement.
Yeah, text replacement. So basically go on YouTube and Google how to do text replacement. You could type in whatever word you want, review 1, 2, 3, and every time you type that in, it will put this whole paragraph that you
Mine was just R1.
R1, okay.
R1, smart, boom, done. So, and then what I would do is I'd take the customer's first name, put it there, and then apply their car. Mm-hmm. If it was Corolla, a turd, I'd make it sound like a Ferrari or something. Yeah. I wouldn't put the year or anything like that. But then you're not typing all of it out. And I always, with a customer, when I'm done, I'll do like a side shot. I'll be like, "All set, ready for you, ready to go." Okay, so you've started that conversation with the customer. Mm-hmm. You have a text going to them that isn't actually a spam. message. Awesome, great. I'll be in at 5 o'clock to pick it up. It looks so good. You know, you could even do it before and after if you want. But usually I've either been talking to people through text messages or whatever, and you know, it's a ongoing conversation.
Sure.
Now, once they've paid up and they're all ready to leave and stuff, I'd be like, oh yeah, well, by the way, you probably read some of my reviews. If you could go give us one, it would be great. We keep it really simple. You know, I'll send you out a little thank you message later. There's a link, just click on it, take you right there. And that's all I did for
years.
What? Yeah. A long time.
Yeah.
I think it was like the second or third advanced skills seminar that Gene gave that to me. And I just applied it over and over and over and over.
That's the thing. I mean, you can listen to these podcasts, other people's podcasts, all that stuff. I have something I call the process, and part of that process is taking action, right? You can hear this stuff. You can hear the price anchoring and the Protractor close and how to start a shop and do all that. Unless you do something about it, nothing's going to change your business, right? Unless you're taking that action. Right. So that's a major tip right there, right? Directly from the Advanced Skills Seminar.
Just as guilty as everybody.
So am I. So am I.
You know, I've spent a lot of money in, you know, groups or, you know, going to advanced skills. I don't apply everything.
We do what we
can.
I
found out, and before I was like, oh man, I am the pros. This is what I have to do. This is the way they're doing it.
Yeah.
And then I learned, listen, you need to take what you can from what they're giving you and apply it to your business.
Right.
You know,
100%.
You can't just copy everybody's platform. You need to adapt it to yourself.
Make it your own. 100%. Yeah.
And the more personable it is with your customer, the more they're going to respond to it.
Yeah. And you mentioned a CRM in that for Google reviews and reviews. That's customer retention management system. People can learn more about that through Lynn Tang, online marketer who does a lot in PDR space, right? And basically it takes what you were doing manually and you can create campaigns within this system to set that up automatically to do for customers, right? You can send them a reminder at 5 o'clock tonight, and then 2 days from now, you can send them a third reminder. And then next week from now, you can send them another reminder or whatever, and it can be all set. Does that sum it up pretty well?
Yeah. Well, basically when you're talking about for your appointments.
I've said for the reviews, but you can do it for appointments. You can do it for everything.
I only have it so the review goes out once.
Okay. You can do whatever you want.
I don't like badgering people. And I would love to write that review where I'm coming to hunt you down and have your address.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, obviously I've done a lot more vehicles than what I have in reviews.
Sure.
And it's not everybody's thing.
No.
But I just let it go because you know what? That person might be the guy that's sitting at the Elks Club having a beer, pulling tickets with his buddies.
Yeah.
And, you know, they're all drunk and one of them whips the door into the other one. Oh, I got a guy, you know? Okay. So, it comes in all different ways. But yeah, the CRM, as far as the reviews go, I can go in and ask for a review. I can set up the date and time that I want it to go. And I've played around with like different times, you know, not right now, but okay, well, let's see if they get home, they're eating dinner and they're settling down. Oh, they're younger, so they probably got kids.
Yeah.
So I'll shoot this to them at like 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
Or, you know, I'll shoot it to them at 10 o'clock because that's when they're getting their coffee in the morning at work.
Yeah.
And they're going to sit there and have a coffee and write it or something like that. So a little bit of thought, and you can program how it goes, but that automatically puts their name in it and all that stuff.
Yeah,
so
definitely advanced stuff. If you're busy and moving along in a shop and you're really trying to find ways to save time and be more efficient, that's something to definitely look into. And we could talk about that's a whole nother podcast. Honestly, you could talk about CRM for hours.
Podcast,
To finish up here, so what's that? Go ahead.
We have
talked
about CRMs for hours. Yeah,
we have, you and I. Yeah, we have talked about it for hours. And I should probably, honestly, I will probably have Lynn on the podcast at some point, and he can go down that stuff. But so you have a shop, obviously that's where you're staying. That's where you're going. I love asking this question to people because I just want to get opinions from everybody to see where we're going. And I love thinking about it. what's the future of PDR? Where's the industry going? Is it growing or shrinking? Is it going to be more retail? Is it going to be in shops, or is the mobile thing going to be big? What do you think PDR looks like, 5-10 years down the road?
I mean, I definitely think paintless dent repair is going to become more advanced. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, as far as like loophole repair and everything, how it's grown everything,
Mm-hmm.
you may see more body guys trying to come into it just because of how GPR and everything's becoming. I mean, you're going to have some good loophole repair guys
Sure.
out
No
there
doubt.
because I mean that's what they're using.
And now
But
Kiko's training and Cam Auto's
yep,
training people in body shops.
yeah,
So that's, yeah. But I mean, I see that as industry growth, right? If you have
yeah,
a abundance
absolutely.
mindset, like, okay, there's going to be more like actually skilled technicians out there.
Yep,
You think there'll be more
and
and more PDR customers down the road?
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot more people looking for that hybrid repair, or like I get a ton of people where they have a scratch, they don't care.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Put some touch-up paint on that, fix the dent. The dent's what's bothering me.
Mm-hmm.
I've got stone chips, I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
You know, um, the big thing is getting those customers, teaching those customers what can be done with paintless dent repair.
Mm-hmm.
And with glue pull repair, you can fix that larger damage and stuff. And some guys don't want to deal with it. And some do. Some, that's all they do, you know.
Right.
And but I definitely think it's growing. It's a way of the future. I think there's going to be. I mean, I know I spend enough money in marketing, and I know a lot of other people do.
Mm-hmm.
It's just going to grow.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, I know when I'm slow, somebody else in this area is slow. You know what I mean? It's not an individual thing. The markets are huge.
Yep.
You just need to get the people aware of the process,
Yeah, and
because it's still so new.
That's our job. Yeah. I mean, I think my dad started this in 91, so he's coming up on 30 years now. And I really do feel like that the PDR industry itself is kind of just beginning in a certain way, with at least the knowledge that we exist in the industry, or in the countries, right? In the country, that people are finally starting to realize that it's an option, seeking us out. There's a lot of people marketing now. I think the competition creates creative marketing and better marketing. I think when you have competition in your area, it's a good thing, right? More and more people know about it. But yeah, I agree. I tend to agree with you on that. What do you think about shops versus mobile down the road?
I'd say it depends on your area.
Yeah.
I know I have a lot of customers that feel really comfortable with the shop.
Mm-hmm.
They want that fixed location. You know, I mean, I believed in what I sold, but me rolling up and telling some guy that I'm going to fix his fender with a couple sticks in the back of my car, and it's going to cost him $650 in his driveway.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a harder sell. If they're here at my shop, they see all the tools. I mean, it's like glowing. Okay. It's like, man, this guy's vested. He's not going anywhere.
Yeah. You know, if something goes wrong, I know where to find him.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I've told people that I'm not going anywhere, you know, come back whenever, even if it's the guy that can't run to his door quick enough because he doesn't like your price. You know, I tell him, well, if you change your mind, I'm not going anywhere.
I'll be here. Yeah.
You know, I can get you in 3 weeks, you know?
Yeah, for sure. All right, man. Well, I appreciate you coming on the podcast. Fantastic information.
You having me.
Yeah, man. It was really fun.
It was good.
I'm glad we did it.
It was really good.
And
you know, nobody's going to follow everything to the T and have all the right answers. So I know guys that have tried to grow their business. I try to grow my business every day. And, you know, sometimes I think back and I'm like, man, I should have stayed in body work. It was a lot easier. I just showed up for a paycheck, you know?
Yeah.
But nobody's going to have all the right answers all the time. All you can do is kind of try to step out of the picture and look at it from the outside so that you can make some better decisions. Because while you're in that box working all day long, you're just going to solve little problems here and there. But if you step out, you can actually see what's going on.
If I could put it in a sentence, make sure that you're spending time working on your business as well as in it.
Right.
That's the biggest thing too, because you're doing a lot. And I know you're going through the process of potentially maybe hiring somebody and doing other things, but you know, you got to take that step back and work on it, because we get really, really stuck working in it. But it's hard you can't grow when you're in it.
Right. Yeah. I'm trying to become unemployed.
Yeah, exactly.
So in other words, not have a job, but actually own a business.
Exactly.
So
that's the ultimate goal, man. And that's what I work on with a lot of my clients. I mean, that's what you're working on. That's what our mastermind group, a lot of people are trying to get to, is creating a business that can thrive without you instead of just like a really well-paying job.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
Great way to end it, man. I appreciate you coming on, and I'm sure that you and I are going to talk soon.
Yep. All right. Well, have a great night.
See you, man.
Thanks for listening, everybody. Yep. Have a good one.